Chapter 938. Successfully returning to the city. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. With a whooshing sound. At a nook of the Yaksha octopus's cave, a green light shined brightly as the surrounding darkness was repelled. As the jade green light faded, a figure appeared at the place which was previously empty. It was Fang Yuan, having just come out of the space created by the goo formation. He had used fixed immortal travel, immortal goo. And this place had been specially arranged earlier, when he explored the Yaksha octopus's underground cave. He had set up many mortal goo here, forming a simple and crude goo formation. Whereas, there was nothing that could be done about it. Fang Yuan's formation path attainment was very low. He could only use goo formations of this level. The goo formation could only conceal most of the disturbance. But fixed immortal travel was, after all, an immortal goo. When Fang Yuan appeared, this mortal goo formation immediately broke apart. Some aura leaked out. Fang Yuan quickly used his methods to get rid of these traces. But soon he heard the growling of desolate beasts as well as the movement of the Yaksha octopuses in the cave. The surrounding Yaksha octopuses are back already? Fang Yuan's eyes shined with bright light. He took action rapidly, eliminating the immortal goo aura before the Yaksha octopuses returned and quickly left. The Yaksha octopuses felt the aura of the immortal goo and were stirred up. But when they arrived, there were no traces remaining. The octopuses searched around and saw nothing. Their uncertainty gradually vanished. They turned around and left. If they were goo immortals, they would not be so easy to fool. Desolate beasts lacked intelligence, thus Fang Yuan could easily deal with them. Before long, he returned to the battlefield with the mouth earthworm. It was a messy scene. Most of the Yaksha octopuses had retreated, while the northern plains immortal zombies were nowhere to be found. A huge gorge, like a long scar along the earth trench, was displayed in front of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's lips curled up. He smiled silently. He knew that this gorge was dug by the mouth earthworm. Mouth earthworms were creatures that primarily lived under the surface. They stayed there most of the time, only coming to the surface when hunting for food. After devouring the prey rapidly, they would dig back under the soil and stop moving. At the same time, their bodies would shrink at a shocking rate, turning from gigantic fat masses to being like bamboo poles. At this time, the thick meat in their bodies would squeeze together tightly. The unique apparatus in their flesh, countless sharp bony teeth, would rotate and grind the prey into flesh and blood. This mouth earthworm swallowed me, but I used fixed immortal travel inside its body to escape. It failed to hunt its prey. It would definitely rage and fight with the northern plains immortal zombies. The mouth earthworm is not their match. It does not have wisdom. It is bound to lose. But this wild beast has the instincts to escape, and it is very good at it. Once it is injured to an extent, it would dig into the soil and escape from the battle. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with eerie light. If not for this, he would not have chosen to use the mouth earthworm to escape from the immortal zombies' sights. Previously in Dark Flow Giant City, he had obtained information about Dragon Commander Ye Cha and the others. He knew that they did not have an effective way to deal with the underground mouth earthworm. Their investigative methods could not bypass the abundant earth path downmarks on the mouth earthworm. Thus, Fang Yuan dared to use fixed immortal travel, immortal goo inside its body. Thus, even though there were many individuals among the northern plains immortal zombies, and they had great battle strength, they could not do anything to this mouth earthworm for a period of time. Especially when the mouth earthworm did not want to fight, and was using all its efforts to escape. Battle strength did not mean everything. For example, old ancestor Shouhu with rank 8 cultivation level could fight against both Yao Huang and Heavenly Lord Baizu and force them to retreat. He had incredible battle strength. But to create the goo formation, he still needed to ask Sun Minglu 7 times. Even rank 9 venerables were like this. In the history of goo immortals, Giant Sun Immortal, Venerable and Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had asked Longhair Ancestor to refine goo for them. There were all sorts of paths in goo cultivation that meant that specialists tackled their own fields. Even if a person cultivates a path to rank 9, they would still be lacking proficiency in other areas. After all, there was a limit to their energy, unless they had a lot of time or a certain degree of fortuitous encounters. The mouth earthworm escaped, while the northern plains immortal zombies chased. The traces of battle extended along the way. During this journey, many things could be seen. Pits created from explosions, blood inside the gorges, most likely the mouth earthworm's blood. Other than that, there were also many pieces of the corpses of Earth Trench's creatures that were drawn into the chaos. In order to live, the mouth earthworm was going all out. This helped Fang Yuan conceal his traces to a large extent. Ortas, one side chased while the other escaped. This extended battlefield had been formed. Seeing the intense fighting along the way, Fang Yuan smiled lightly. In order to escape, the mouth earthworm must have panicked and led the northern plains immortal zombies to the territories of other fierce beasts. Good, the more chaotic the scene is, the more advantageous for me. This is just like what I had calculated earlier. Next, Fang Yan followed along the traces of battle and flew rapidly, his body submerging into the darkness. The northern plains immortal zombies were flying dejectedly. Their injuries were not light, they were in pathetic states with ashen expressions. What can we do? Xing Shangzi died. How can we explain this to Lady Blazing Heaven Demoness? Sigh, we did our best. Assaulting the mouth earthworm along the way, we went through the territories of 5 fierce beasts, among which 3 are ancient desolate beasts. Keep in mind, this is the Earth Trench. I have never acted so crazy before. Unfortunately, our efforts were in vain. This mouth earthworm fell into the acid bog. It had completely dissolved. Xing Shangzi was not spared. There's no way we can sacrifice our lives for him, right? In my opinion, Xing Shangzi was too careless. Acting so careless in Earth Trench, he was simply courting death. The immortal zombie spoke quietly. Only the leader, Dragon Commander, Ye Cha, was silent. He had the highest status among these people. He was the leader. He held the biggest responsibility towards Xing Shangzi's demise. Thinking about Blazing Heaven, Demoness Dragon Commander, Ye Cha's heart felt extremely heavy. Everyone, we finally meet again. Fang Yuan turned into Xing Shangzi, appearing in front of the immortal zombies. Oh? At once, the northern plains immortal zombies were stunned. Xing Shangzi? Dr. Yin Xuan called out. His gaze was full of joy. The other immortal zombies were the same. Even landlord Lei Yu looked at Fang Yuan, feeling that it was very pleasing to see this old man. How did you escape? An immortal zombie asked. This question was in everyone's minds. Several gazes were all focused on Fang Yuan's face. Fang Yuan was prepared for this. He gave his explanation. Alas, when I was trapped inside the mouth earthworm's stomach, the surrounding flesh squeezed me, and numerous teeth started rotating. In that dangerous state, I used my immortal goo for an immortal killer move, sealing myself into star ice. This is my strongest defensive move. It was able to block the teeth, but there was a drawback. I could not move at all, not just my body, but my thoughts as well. Therefore, I could not think. The star ice would only exist for a short period of time, but I believed that everyone would save me. All I had to do was to wait until the star ice melted, and when I regained my freedom, I found that I was buried under some rubble. So that's it, Dr. Yinchuan realized. Xing Shangzi must have fell out when we were chasing the mouth earthworm and fighting in the chaotic battle, creating wounds that tore its flesh open. So close, so close. Xing Shangzi, you were really lucky. The immortal zombies did not have any suspicions. Dragon Commander. Ye Cha heaved a sigh of relief. That is good. Do you still need to collect Star Knight mucus? Fang Yuan's face changed. He showed a hesitant expression, saying, Forget it. I was unlucky now. Let's go back and rest first. We will talk about it later. The immortal zombies glanced at each other, secretly laughing inside about Xing Shangzi's timidness. But after such an intense battle, their bodies were in bad shape as well. Thus, everyone agreed to return to Darkflow Giant City and rest. As for the remaining Star Knight mucus, that was a problem for later. A few days later, dark flow, giant city. In the secret room, the refinement path goo formation was shining with a dazzling light. The light shined on Fang Yun's face, but now his mind was elsewhere. Possible, this is totally possible, Fang Yuan said internally. He was using the goo formation to process the goo refinement materials on the surface, but he was actually inside his dead aperture, controlling goo worms to do an experiment. He was very vigilant, even though he obtained a revival method in Earth Trench. It had a dubious origin. Fang Yuan had to experiment on it and test if it was usable. The results all proved that this revival method was usable. Fang Yuan was excited and deeply moved. Looking back over the past, Fang Yuan had been collecting revival methods ever since Imperial Court Blessed Land was destroyed, facing many difficulties. The first revival method he collected, of time path that was to use man, as before immortal goo with time, anchor immortal goo to revive himself. But though this method might have great potential, it was only a conjecture. To complete it, he needed to cooperate with Shark Demon and invest an immense amount of time and resources into it. Next, Fang Yuan found the possession method from Dongfang Changfan's soul. Using this, he could achieve the target of getting rid of his immortal zombie state. But if he used this method, not only would there be questions on whether the body would suit his soul and the aptitude of the body, but the second aperture that Fang Yuan had put in so much effort to obtain would be gone for good. Following that, Fang Yuan obtained a method of using a 10 extreme physique immortal ascension to get rid of the immortal zombie state from Feng Jin Huang at the Refinement Path Convention. This method was even less plausible. It was suited for mortal goo masters. Fang Yuan was already an immortal zombie. He would need to use his first mortal aperture to undergo immortal ascension. He did not have one of the 10 extreme physiques either. He had insufficient aptitude. Even though he had blood skull goo, he already had down marks in his body. He could not use mortal goo to raise his aptitude. Finally, in the Starry Sky Grotto Heaven Fragment World, Feng Jin Huang told Fang Yuan another revival method. Using theory involving transformation path, in combination with everlasting goo, he could achieve a permanent transformation that was the same as revival. But what was the way to refine everlasting goo? Fang Yuan did not know. If someone else had everlasting immortal goo, the situation would be even worse. Fang Yuan did not excel greatly in transformation path either. These methods, even though they could succeed, they all had drawbacks and could not be achieved easily. But as the saying goes, one determined to work hard would not be disappointed. After so much turmoil and difficulties, Fang Yuan finally found the best and most suitable method for himself inside Northern Plains Zombie Alliance's Earth Trench.